Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Be Green with Amy. I'm Amy. After adopting a whole food plant-based lifestyle, my hubby Rick and I lost over 130 pounds. Now I coach others on their plant-based journey. Just Task Voice. Let's welcome our guest.
At age 72, Esther lost 130 pounds. Learn how she finally conquered food cravings and embraces a healthier lifestyle. Please click like to help Be Green with Amy. Welcome, author of From Donuts to Potatoes, Esther Loveridge.
Greetings, Green Warrior, and welcome back, Esther.
Well, thank you for having me, Amy. You're a wonderful platform to share.
Oh, well, we just love having you on. Every time you come on, you always have something exceptional to share. And we're already getting people making comments because they've just been waiting and waiting to see you. And Green Warrior, have you ever wondered if you're truly hungry or just craving something out of habit or emotion? This is what we're going to be talking about today. And I would like if you could tell me in the chat if this applies to you and what you're struggling with, because we're going to be having a lot of conversation about true hunger, and there's something that Dr. Joel Fuhrman calls toxic hunger, and maybe there's a difference that we should learn about too. And you've definitely learned about being truly hungry, right, Esther?
Oh, yes. But what's exciting is when I learned that it's not so much when I eat or how much I eat or why I eat, it's what I eat. And when I identified that, I really don't have to worry about if I'm hungry or not hungry. Sure, it's good not to overeat when you're not hungry, but the point is, eventually you're going to get full. It's when you dabble in the foods that you don't need to have that you get into trouble. So yeah, I can be hungry and I can satisfy at any time and not gain weight because I eat the right foods.
Well, Rochelle said, I struggle with snacking, and I think she means in the evening. So, I think that's happens to a lot of people. Did that used to happen to you, Esther?
Oh, sure. Sometimes the best way is just to stay out of the kitchen. I know snacking is a popular habit, whether we're watching TV or going to the movies or just walking through the kitchen. Sometimes we think we have to check the refrigerator or check the cupboards and see what's available, just out of maybe nervousness or anxiety. And we're not really hungry, but we're just yearning for something. And I think what I really want to talk about is, what is that something we're hungry for?
Yes. So JJ said, I just drank water because I felt hungry or thought I did. I'll be having lunch at 3:15 because I haven't ate all day, and I now listen to my body. I began seeing food as fuel. I like that.
That's excellent. It's not a hobby and it's not entertainment. Well, it can be. It has certainly for me, where I just get nervous and want a snack. In fact, I had a nervous attack this week. We were watching a movie, and I have some sunflower seeds in the house and some pumpkin seeds, and I haven't eaten those all year for 10 months. But I just kind of wanted that. And then I just thought, well, okay, it's okay to want. It's okay. And then I just got my mind on something else and I was fine, because snacking is just feeding, and it's almost like smoking. It's something to do with your hands. It's something to do with your mouth. It's something to dumb down any thoughts that maybe we need to deal with.
Yeah, I think so. And I have clients and people that I've interacted with over the past, and some of them think that this snacking thing is like your body sending you a signal that you're missing something that you need.
It might be, but food might not be what you need. Yeah. It may even be you need to get out and get some fresh air. Maybe you need to take a walk. Maybe you need to hold somebody's hand. Maybe you need to sit in the silence. Maybe you need to meditate. Maybe you need to really think about really getting to know your body in a more personal way. I think there are very few of us who have ever really experienced hunger. And sometimes when I'm eating something that isn't necessarily flavorful or exciting, I think of myself, what if I were in a concentration camp? Or what if I were in jail and they were withholding everything from me except for bread and water? Any morsel of anything would be so appreciated. And I think for most of us, I can't speak for everyone, but I think we're very spoiled. We have refrigerators mostly full. Mine's kind of empty today because it's Wednesday, but we have refrigerators full, we have freezers full, we have cupboards full, and we have fast food all around us and food everywhere we go. And I don't think we have much time to get hungry in our environment.
No, we really don't. Dr. Joe Furman, he wrote several books, and he actually had an experiment where he talked about something that he determined to be toxic hunger, and it's almost like, especially if you're just starting off on a whole food plant-based lifestyle, or if you're just not doing it 100% of the time, and you keep dipping your toe into those processed foods and things that can be addictive, that the rumbling in your tummy and the feeling that, oh, I just have to eat something, or I'm just going to pass out, that is often what he terms toxic hunger,
Mhm.
almost like a withdrawal.
Yes, I understand that too because when I feel hungry, it's just so seldom that I feel hungry. For a while there, I was getting up in the morning and I was making a glass of lemon water for myself. And if I started the day out with that, that seemed miraculously enough to satisfy my need to eat. Because I think sometimes we go by the clock. We're used to having a routine or having breakfast at a certain time. And I know people who are working don't have as much opportunity as I have to play these little experiments to see what works. But having that lemon and water in the morning was something I used for a while. And people wondered if it was some magic tonic. And I said, no. But I do notice that after I have that, then I don't really feel like I want to eat again until maybe 11 or 12 o'clock. And then I wasn't so sure that I wanted to skip breakfast. So then I tried another little experiment where for about a month, I ate a big breakfast in the morning. And I still now have been eating a big breakfast and then a nice lunch. And then I wasn't eating after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Some people call that intermittent fasting. Well, I wasn't doing it for that, but I have a friend, he's 100 years old, and he doesn't eat after 2. And I thought, well, and I know the Adventists up in Weimar, they in their school they don't either. So I thought, well, let's try that and see how that works for me. And it was interesting to me that I could eat. Actually, I'd finish my eating by 2, not start at 2, and then I'd go till 8 o'clock the next morning, and my body got used to that. And I just so you'd think if I was going to be hungry, I'd be hungry at that time. But I think the thing that makes it different for me is that I've been eating clean most of the time for about 8 years. So my body has gotten used to what fuels it the best. And as long as I stay within those parameters, I'm not introducing more addiction into my life.
I like that. Yeah, that it makes a really big difference, and I think that you can also think that's encouraging, I think, to people, because when you haven't been doing it for that long, and like you said, you're basically 100% mostly, it does make a difference. And it makes a difference in what your taste buds do and your habits. And I mean, the fact that people can fast, supervised, of course, medically supervised, for 40 days and just have water and nothing else, and they don't perish, right?
Right.
That, because we have places like True North and other places that people go to do this. So it shows that, we don't need to have that food absolutely, 3 times a day or at 2 o'clock or whatever. Our bodies can adapt, and it's interesting that you're doing those experiments. I think probably different people have different ways of working through that. What worked for you, and you always say that, right? You always say, "Don't do what I do. This is just
Right.
what I do," right? That doesn't
Well,
mean it's going to work for you.
yeah, I can't, I'm not going to live my life to show you, to show a way that I think everyone should do. This is my journey, and it still is. And I do love playing with different ideas and different things. And as we've talked about before, in January, I decided to do vegetables and water.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm still doing that. So this is the 10th month. Now, after a while, I think it was after about 6 or 7 months, I introduced beans back into my diet. And then I also, more lately, have introduced peanuts. And somebody asked me this morning, well, why are you eating peanuts and not nuts? Well, I just have this idea in my mind that I'm not eating nuts. And so that eliminates cashews, it eliminates almonds, it eliminates walnuts, and a lot of probably healthy nuts. But I just don't eat nuts. And now peanuts are not nuts, they're legumes, they grow
Right.
underground, and they're actually a legume. So I could add those back into my diet because I was losing more weight than I wanted to. I mean, even after the 130, I was down to like 127, and then I went down to 117. And so I decided after a while that I just needed to bring that up a little bit more and add some fat. So the fat I chose to add to my diet was peanuts, not all nuts,
Hmm.
because it would just add too many options, too many opportunities back. And then I do get the peanuts that are still in the shell. So I do have to take the time and I eat them one by one. And they're kind of fun because it kind of creates a little peanut sauce in my mouth.
Oh
So
yeah.
so I'll take a bite of potato and then I'll put a peanut in and kind of eat it together, masticate it together. And it's just kind of another fun thing that I'm at a place now I can afford to do that. But I don't recommend people adding peanuts back to their diet if they're still wanting to lose weight,
Hmm.
because it's not something you have to have. They have proteins and a lot of good things in them, but you don't, if you want to lose weight, my idea is you want to lose weight fast enough so that you feel successful so that you'll continue.
Yes, yes. And these little diversions can really change our trajectory. Yes.
Yeah, yes. I think the other thing I wanted to discuss too is to take time, and I think probably most of your followers are women. And I wrote the other day about the word prejudice, and I thought, I'm kind of prejudiced lately about women because I think we have the gift of intuition or the gift of knowledge, or I'm not saying men don't have it, but I think as women, we're more sensitive to things like that and more open minded, perhaps. And I think when we take time to really reflect and determine when those ideas or those impulses, I will call them, to eat come to us, that if we can take the time to say, okay, now I'm feeling this. What does this mean in my body at this time? Is it something that a glass of water might subside? And a lot of times it is, because many times we're dehydrated and don't know it. So I would say if you have that impulse that you think you're hungry, why not try a glass of water and wait 20 minutes and see how you feel? In fact, I was reminded, I used to tell my kids that when I was a single mother, when they'd come to me and say, Mom, I'm hungry. And I'd say, have a glass of water. And that would delay it until dinner time. But I think there's merit in that. And I think another thing that's going around a lot is the virus of loneliness.
Mm.
I think a lot of people are feeling estranged from their family. I think this has happened in my own family to a certain degree by having gone plant based. Um, it may not be that at all. It may be that everyone's busy doing their own thing, but there is this feeling of separation and a little bit of aloneness. And so food is not going to solve that problem. No matter what you eat, you might feel a little bit of dopamine hit for the moment, but it's not going to get to the core of your loneliness. So if that's true for you, reach out, whether it's on Facebook or a friend or writing a letter or connecting with someone. Don't be afraid to ask for friendship. We ask for other things we need, and a friendship is another thing. And I think having programs like you have where people can come together and be on Zoom, it's still a connectedness that we all need. And for some of us, it might be touch. Maybe we're just feeling like we need to be held or have someone hold our hand or someone to look us in the eyes, someone to see us. And that's what I noticed when we were in India that was so nice. It seemed like the people there took time to register your face in their eyes.
Mm.
And if somebody would ask you, "How are you?" they didn't expect the quick answer, "Oh, I'm fine."
Yeah.
But how many of us can sometimes say, "I need to talk," or "I need to listen"? So there's all kinds of, if we are made up of body, soul, and mind, sometimes we need intellectual stimulation. Sometimes maybe we need to read a book or do a puzzle or do something that keeps our brain active. But I just would like people, when you do have that first impulse to eat, stop for 1 minute and ask yourself, now, what do I really want?
Mm. Yeah.
Or maybe you want to reduce stress, and that's the way you've always reduced stress before, is just to literally push those feelings down with food rather than deal with maybe some changes you need to make in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I I wanted to ask the Green Warriors, if are you struggling with cravings? And please tell us what you find hardest to resist. Just put that in the chat because I'd like to get a conversation going to see what that's like. I'm going to do a quick true or false question. We've covered some of the questions that I was thinking about asking, but I still have one that I wanted to ask. So let's do our true or
It's
false.
time for True or False on Be Green with Amy Live. Answer true or false to Amy's questions in the comments below, and Amy will ask our guest for the expert answer.
Okay, true or false? Being in a social situation can influence you to eat even if you're not hungry. Type in your answer, Green Warriors. And Esther, do you want to talk about that?
Oh, that's a big true. I had that experience this week. I've been kind of celebrating my birthday all month.
Yeah,
And
everybody type in the chat happy birthday because Esther just had a birthday.
But I met a friend for lunch, and we always go to the same restaurant, and she always gets the same food there, and I do too. It's a creperie place, so you can imagine there aren't too many choices. But
Oh, yeah.
they do have a salad, and so I can add. There's a whole list of things you can add to the salad. So I pick out artichoke hearts, and maybe I'll pick out olives, or sometimes I pick out sunflower seeds, or sometimes tomatoes, or there's just a number of things you can add to it, and that's just what I have. Well, after I was really quite satisfied, enjoyed our conversation for a couple of hours, and then a surprise landed right in front of me, and it was an ice cream sundae. And I didn't know if she ordered it or if the waitress overheard something and just brought it. I don't know who did, but it sat there right in front of me. And for a moment, I felt like I was obligated
Yes.
because it was my birthday, and either someone spent the money for it or the restaurant was generous. I don't know which way it was, but it sat there. But it was a wonderful thing because my mind has been so much clearer this year on where I stand. The thought that went to my mind was, it's not my food. It's not my food. And so it sat there, and it was a little uncomfortable. And my friend, she reached over, and we had two spoons, and she took a little bit with her spoon. And, that need to please still comes up in me, even after all this time, where I wanted to please her, wanted to please the waitress by being thankful, but it's not my food. And I didn't need to violate myself. So I just let it sit there. And I thought, just because it presented itself doesn't mean I have to give in. So then my friend kind of took my spoon and put it in there to mess it up a little bit, and
Oh,
finally the whole dish just melted,
uh,
and,
uh,
and neither one of us ate that. And so, and how did I feel when I left the restaurant? Strong, strong. Because if I had given in and said, well, it's my birthday and they've done all this, blah, 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 you know, and it wasn't being mean, but it's just not what I eat.
mhm. I
And
love it.
and a birthday is no exception. Because if a birthday is an exception, then an anniversary is an exception, and then a potluck is an exception, and then going to someone's house for dinner. And if it's just what we don't eat, now maybe you haven't defined that for yourself. Maybe you give yourself more latitude. That's your life and your journey. But for me, it was just wonderful to have that there and look at it and say, yeah, it looked pretty, but it's not what I do. It's not my food.
Wow. That is so encouraging. I have clients that have had to deal with that they've had people that actually made or ordered special birthday cakes for them and surprised them with it, and all well-meaning, right?
Mhm.
These people aren't trying to sabotage you. They're just trying to show their love, and that's the way that we have been socialized to do that for people's birthdays. And it's a tough thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, 5 years ago, we were in Bhutan in 2019, and I had my birthday there. And we were in a remote village. And as we were having dinner that night, there were 14 of us. I found out that the guide had gone to really extraordinary means to provide me a birthday cake. I mean, he had to leave the resort where we were, ride in some kind of a Jeep, go down a rut filled road,
Oh my
go
goodness.
clear into town, and bring back a cake from the bakery with my name on it for the whole group. And so there again, I took a little bit of time to think about it. And I was sitting next to Jude, my friend from New Zealand, and she said, what are you going to do? Well, I felt the pressure mounting because of the situation. And also, that was 5 years ago. I wasn't as strong then as I am now. And so when they cut a slice of cake, we ended up sharing it. So at least I cut the damage in half.
Yeah, yeah.
And and I didn't have the cake to take back to the room with me. So I knew that it wouldn't be a continuing problem. It was just for,
Hmm.
and do I wish I had not? Well, it doesn't matter. We can't go back in time.
Can't go back.
But I'm just saying that's how I dealt with it then. But this birthday was even better because one bite is just, I mean, I used to love ice cream and chocolate syrup on the top and whipping cream on top of that.
Uh,
I would have just gotten greedy. So instead, my friend, bless her heart, she didn't eat all of her fruit and she had a little separate side salad too. And she just only ate the quiche that she ordered. And I just couldn't hardly stand seeing that food wasted. So
oh yeah.
I said, Helen, are you going to take that food home? And she said, no. And then the waitress was there. She said, well, do you want me to box it up? And I said, yes, because it was my food.
Yes, that's
It was,
my food over there.
yes,
I'm
it
not
was
gonna
my,
waste that.
well, no, because my little salad was not enough. I had to
No.
have some potatoes with it or something. But anyway, we're all on this journey and it's wonderful. But we give our body mixed messages as long as we're mixing the old food with the new food. And then if it's true that our gut biome has good and bad bacteria, and what we eat feeds that good and bacteria, it's kind of like the old story of having the devil and the angel on your shoulder. The one that wins is the one you feed. And so the more we feed the good bacteria, I guess the bad bacteria just dies and goes away because it's not calling help, help anymore. And the longer you have a stretch of really eating pure, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a hard journey. I won't say it's not, but it's exciting to feel. I mean, I feel better this year than I ever have. And it's just, I think it's because I started doing that Daniel's fast in January and I limited myself to vegetables. And I know this is far out, but I'm a far out kid. If I were to open my spice cabinet here, I have not used anything from my spice cabinet since January 1st.
Yeah.
Now, Do I think spices are bad? No. Do I think spices make me want to eat more? Yes.
Mhm.
So I just have chosen to do a trial to see what it's like. And I have fallen in love with the natural flavor of foods. And this is just my journey. It doesn't mean anybody else has to do that to lose weight. I lost 130 pounds without doing that. I had all the spices I wanted. So it has nothing to do with that. But it's just my own little purification game
Mhm.
of, how much of a mentalist, not a mentalist, but a minimalist I
Mhm.
can be and still be happy and satisfied. And I love, love, love my life. I love what I'm eating. It's very plain and simple, and most of it's grown locally, but that even doesn't matter. We get our potatoes and our carrots and our celery from the big stores. But it's just fun to me to find out how little it takes to satisfy that hunger drive.
Yes.
Because now if I have any of those other hungers, like an emotional hunger or a psychological hunger or a habit hunger, I try to really address that issue and identify, Esther, what is it you really want and what's going to satisfy that.
Yeah, I love that. It just, I think, like you said, the longer you're doing this, and as long as you're doing it, you know, I think 100% is good. But if you can, as close as you can get to 100%, the easier things get, I think. Yeah.
I know we just got an invitation to my granddaughters. They call it a dessert concert. Can you
Oh
imagine?
my goodness.
And it's where they'll be performing. But these people bring all of my favorite candies and cookies and Christmas desserts and stuff to this thing. And we went last year, and that was one of two times in December of last year that I went nuts. I mean,
Uh,
I decided I could go have a cookie, and then when I got over there, I found all these things I used to make, and it was free, and that's a problem for me. And anyway, I just loaded up that plate with all these things that I had missed for 7 years. And so this week, or just yesterday or this morning, I guess I got an invitation to go to it this year. You better believe I will be eating potatoes before I go, and I will not be even leaving my seat to go look at what's offered there. It's not my food.
yeah. Susan said, "It's not my food." That's a good thought. I was beating myself up thinking it's not compliant, and then I felt deprived. I recently started thinking it's not acceptable, which was also helpful. That's a good one too, Susan.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
your mind is a powerful tool, and you can use it to your advantage or disadvantage. You can talk yourself into anything. And I think that's what happens so many times when we read a lot of different books and we follow a lot of different doctors. We often will be looking for the doctor that will tell us what we want to hear.
Mm,
And that even happens with teachers. But I think when a person's first starting out, choose one guidance system and test it and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, you can graduate into somebody else's ideas. But you can get confused, like, oh, does it have to be organic? Does it have to be inorganic? Oh, does it matter if I eat after 2 o'clock? Does it matter if I eat 3 hours before bedtime? What if I wake up in the middle of the night hungry? Can I eat? What about portion control? What about balancing all my nutrients? And it can be like a scientific course in nutrition
yeah.
if we don't watch out. But if I chose, I know I can't even say I chose, I was given Dr. McDougall's Maximum Weight Loss book. I knew no vegans, I knew no vegetarians personally. And so I didn't have anything else to go by. But I decided I was going to put that book to the test. And if that sucker knew what he was talking about,
Oh yeah.
then I would have my answer. And I tell you, not every day do I remember to give thanks, but I love Dr. McDougall, what he taught. It helped me find my pathway. It was my road to success by following that book. And it was strict enough that I could lose weight fast. I lost 80 pounds the first year, and that was while cruising a lot as well. So it wasn't necessarily an easy year. And then 25 the next year and 25 the third year. And I've maintained that. So it worked for me. So, of course, I'm an advocate for his program. because I can testify to the advocacy of it. Do other programs work? Sure. I mean, I hear other people tell their stories of what's worked for them. So find your own pathway and find something you can live with and something you're willing to do.
Mm, right. That's what it is. You have to be willing to do it. And not everybody, wants to do the way that maybe you do it. Maybe they, like you said, they find another path. And as long as it's working and it's healthy, I mean, Marley said, that's interesting. OMG, I don't see how I could give up my spices, which is fine. You don't have to give up your
No, no.
spices.
I, I lost all my weight eating all the spices I wanted. So it has nothing
Mhm.
to do with that. It had more to do with me just wanting to get in touch with how food tasted by itself. Could I live on natural food if I had to? What if something happened where I didn't have spices around to doctor things up? You know?
Mhm.
So it's just my own personal sanctification process
Yeah.
where I just really wanted to get to the grassroots and see how it would be to have vegetables and water only.
Yeah.
And it was a high for me.
Yeah. Rochelle said I have a hard time resisting peanut butter. Wow. Yeah. That
Well,
that
peanut butter is number one. It's too high in fat if you want to
Mhm.
lose weight,
Right.
and too easy to overindulge. And then most people are not going to put it on celery. They might put it on bread, and then the next thing might be they might want to add jam, and
Yeah.
then how are they going to control the quantity? So my latest thing, as I mentioned earlier, is just by enjoying those peanuts one at a time
Right.
and getting the flavor of peanut butter in my mouth, but with far less quantity.
But you have achieved your weight loss goal, and
Oh,
that and you were actually losing more weight than you were
yeah,
comfortable with. But if
yeah.
that was not the case and you were still on your weight loss journey, you wouldn't
No,
be eating
I
anything peanuts,
no, I
right?
wouldn't be. If I was on my weight loss journey, and I would not be eating any nuts, seeds, avocados, soy products, flour products, alcohol, any of that. That's how much I had eliminated on the maximum weight loss. Now, on Dr. McDougall's starch solution, you can have all those healthy fats. You know, normal people who aren't obese and needing to lose weight, they can eat bread, they can eat pasta, they can eat spaghetti, and all that kind of stuff. But to lose weight fast enough to keep me going, this was the pathway that worked for me.
Yeah. But it might be difficult. I don't know what Rochelle's situation is, but she may be struggling with other people living in her household that are not having the same goals as she does. And maybe that's why the peanut butter is there. Of course, if you can keep it out of your house, that would be the best thing, right?
Sure. Or if you could designate a cupboard that's your cupboard where your food goes. I heard Dr. Lyle this last week talk about he shares his home with someone or people that don't eat the way he does. So he has his own refrigerator. Now that's going to more extreme than I have gone to, but even a cupboard or a box in a cupboard could be either your food or somebody else's food that's non-compliant until you get used to it, because it's hard to go open the cupboard and see mixed food there. You know, I have one cupboard where there's really no reason for me to get into it because I don't eat out of that cupboard anymore either. But there was a time when I would have what would I have there? Maybe I had beans in that cupboard for a while, and now I don't. So there aren't too many places I have to open up and have something jump into my face.
Hmm.
Uh, Ben eats food differently. I mean, he eats no animal, no dairy, no oil. So in that respect, we eat the same. But bless his heart, I mean, he lost his weight so quickly. He has no animal, dairy, or oil in the house here. But he does eat things I don't eat. But I don't like to talk about that because that's not what worked for me.
Right.
But it has worked for him. So I just encourage, if you're not if you're not willing, don't pretend you are.
That is very profound.
Just be real with yourself. Be honest with somebody in this world and say, you know what? I don't like my fat. I'm tired of not being able to walk. I'm tired of my knees hurting, but I'm not willing to give that up. I mean, my 92-year-old brother just died, and I had to ask him, do you want me to stop talking to you about this? And he said, yes. He said, yes. So what? So did my love for him depend upon him eating my way? Well, part of it. I mean, only because of my passion for eating this way and having had such a good impact on me. I want the whole world to eat this way. But yet we each are on our own journey. And when he said no, I said, okay, I still wanted to visit him. I still wanted to have fun with him. You know, I just had boundaries. And just as he has had a boundary about that, some of the rest of us people, we have boundaries about what kind of a spiritual journey we want to take.
Mm.
And we don't want anybody shoving religion down our throat. And veganism is no different.
Yes, very good. C said, are there 4 or 5 veggies that you eat on daily that have helped you with your recent craving success?
Well, I would say any vegetable raw is not going to introduce a craving. I think, and so to answer your question, I try to have my refrigerator empty, like it's almost empty right now on Wednesday, because on Thursday, Ben does the shopping at the big store and I do the shopping at the farmer's market. And I try to buy food that I want to eat that week. So, like this last week, it was snow peas, it was beets, it was those mini sweet peppers. A friend gave me a box of grapes. I would put some of those on the plate. Of course, it's always potatoes and sweet potatoes and beans. And what else have I been? Celery and carrots and onion and garlic. And, you know, you don't have to buy too much. And so I'm repeating some of the meals throughout the week because that's what I have to offer myself. And then the next week when I go, like for a while, I was on a watermelon kick. And because I could say to myself, well, watermelon's really a fruit of the vine. It's not the
Yes.
fruit of the tree.
Hmm.
And I think having, now this is kind of extreme, but I'm an extreme person, not having eaten fruit off the tree since January, I think has really zoned me in to not be addicting so much sugar
Mm.
because I think the fruit on the tree has a higher sugar content than tomatoes and cucumber and squash and watermelon and even strawberries and even blueberries and even grapes. You know, so those are a real recent addition. And if I go to a potluck, I might have a piece of pineapple. I guess I don't know if that's a bush or a tree. I don't worry about that. But basically, I've stayed away, except last Friday, went to Chef AJ's and she wanted to make a dessert for me. And she makes um, banana ice cream with some kind of expensive machine where you
Oh,
put,
the Ninja Creamy.
I think it's a different
Or it
machine.
might be something else. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it whips it up to be even more than a Vitamix would. It
yeah.
pumps air into it.
It's
Yeah.
kind of magical. So all she put in there was frozen bananas.
Mm.
But I hadn't been eating bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did make that exception for that.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I'm just not buying any.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not so religious about it that I can't, if it's a whole food, that I can't
Yes.
enjoy it. But I just have had fun doing this elimination thing of everything but vegetables and water because it just eliminates so many decisions to make. So I say, does it grow or is it a vegetable? And so, you know, I haven't had anything processed, anything out of a can, anything frozen. Although you could, I'm just revealing what I do.
Mm.
But I'm happy. I mean, I feel like I have finally gotten that monkey off my back. And it's such a feeling of, I like the word deliverance. It's like that addiction is gone. I don't sit. In fact, there's even a ice cream place here in town. It's been in business since I used to go there since I was 5 years old. And they had the best ice cream in town. And they have also had, they have fruit freezes where they freeze. It's kind of like I don't know, you're in different parts of the country, but it's kind of like an Italian ice in a way that's kind of different. But it's just fruit and probably and then some water. But see, I think they add sugar. So
Oh, yeah.
I even got a free gift certificate to go there, and I just said no, I don't think I want to add sugar.
Hmm.
And it does have that, so I'll have to find somebody else who it's okay with. But to have my mind be clear, I think I think I'm just more quick-witted. I'm having fun. I'm more in tune with my spirit, and there's fewer distractions. And my source of food is in my refrigerator.
Exactly.
I haven't eaten anything out of the freezer in a year, in 10 months. Not that you couldn't, but I just don't buy anything frozen.
Hmm.
So, and like I can just put carrots in the Instant Pot and I can just take them out and just enjoy them. Even by themselves, they're sweet enough. And a carrot could never be sweet if I was still eating fresh fruit.
Right.
By
Exactly.
comparison, it just wouldn't. And celery's crunchy and wonderful. And, so I'm so thankful. And I'm trying to say thanks more often now.
Yeah.
When I do, sometimes I forget. I say, "Oh, I forgot again," But I want to be thankful to the farmers, thankful to the sun, thankful for the rain. Except for you guys in Florida, so sorry, so
Ah,
sorry. But in general, we have so many blessings in our lives. So
oh yeah.
much. We're so rich. We are so rich in so many things. And when our soul is satisfied, then I think our stomachs get more satisfied. So it's not just about this bodily need for food and hunger. We think that's what we're hungry for, but check out the other aspects of your life too and see where you might be needy and what you can do to satisfy those needs.
Yeah. Very good. Susan said McDougal for 3 years, whole food plant based for 8. Wow. Excellent. And she want to know what you serve guests or bring to potlucks.
Watermelon. We just take a watermelon every time. It's Chef AJ's favorite food, and it's not processed, and it has nothing added to it, and it's fruit of the vine, and it's not a fruit cocktail. And so that's what we take. And I had some guests come by here within the last month, and I struggled with what to feed them. And so I decided that since I didn't have anything in the house that would be that exciting, and I didn't want to ask Ben to make something, we just went to the local Mexican restaurant, and I asked them, and this is something that surprised me. I said, "What kind of a burrito would you like?" And one chose chicken and one chose beef. And Ben and I had bean and rice burritos. And I just brought those home to the house, and Ben made some fresh guacamole for them. And we had some chips for them. And then they came another time, but it wasn't for a meal. And I just served them water.
There you go. I think watermelon is a really great idea. You can be creative with it if you like. You can make it into little balls or chunks. You can carve it if you want to. And there's always enough when you bring a
Yes.
watermelon. There's enough, right? And
Yes.
it seems to be even if the people aren't plant based, it's an acceptable thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
For everyone.
Tastes, yeah, it tastes the way they would eat it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, if anybody
absolutely.
bought a watermelon, just eat it. Of course, I like the ones that have seeds. Ben doesn't. So we go to two different sources to get that. I don't know why. I eat the seeds too. In fact, Chef AJ sent a papaya home with me, and like I said, I wasn't buying fruit from the tree, but neither was I going to throw away the papaya she gave me. So I
Uh-huh.
went to Google and looked up, and do you know that according to Google, it
Uh-huh.
says the seeds might be even more nutritious than the flesh of the papaya. I ate the whole thing, skin, seeds,
Ah,
and the seeds tasted kind of peppery.
interesting.
It was real interesting to chew those up thoroughly in my mouth. So, yeah, so our bodies are wonderful manufacturing plants and processing. Oh, and corn on the cob, that's a wonderful thing. I eat that raw usually just because I'm too lazy to heat it up. And of course, you always have to have potatoes and sweet potatoes. And now my oven's on the fritz, so I had to make some in the Instant Pot today. It's not the same.
Oh, yeah.
Not the same.
Well, Mona said I made deviled potatoes for a potluck and no one knew they were vegan.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We've made that in the past, and people just they eat them up. They
Yeah.
really do, and they look beautiful. And you sprinkle the paprika on them. Just just like you would with the eggs. That's a really great idea. And Starchy Shauna said, great idea for ordering from a restaurant. Yeah, that was a good tip.
That way I didn't have to bring meat into the house, and I allowed them to be on their own journey. I didn't force them to eat beans and rice burrito. Yeah, I felt it was really important that they have a choice. And so I was glad I asked them. I could have just gotten bean and rice burritos and served it to all of us, but we have a little bit of struggle around this between those people anyway. So I did not want to shove it down their throat.
Yeah.
So I was really kind of proud of myself for evolving to the point where I could let them be them and I could be me.
Yes, because that's what you want them to let you be you, right?
Right.
And that's what we have to think about sometimes. Yeah. So Green Warriors, I mean, I'm seeing some people talk in the chat about things that they've been struggling with at home, like the peanut butter, and I think somebody else said something else that they were talking about. Oh yeah, Mona said that with chips. So are these things that are in your house because you bring them in the house, or are they in your house because other people want them in the house? That'd be interesting to know. I think about, I mean, I don't know what our age group today is. And I think about that if you're buying something for children, you don't have to bring those things into the house if it's just for children or even teenagers, right? Or even adult children that haven't quite left the nest yet, right? You don't need to provide that kind of food for them, or grandchildren even. You don't need to provide food for that. So I'm interested to know, Green Warriors, tell me in the chat, is this something that you bring in the house, or is it because you're living with other adults that have it? Because that can make a difference, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I think sometimes I'm speaking for myself. I have used grandchildren or other people as an excuse to do what I really wanted to do.
Yeah. So, and Mona said it's not in my house, but hard to pass up at the store sometimes. I know I shouldn't. And there we go, right? That was what I was. And thank you for your honesty, Mona, because oftentimes, we don't want to say those things, especially in a comment. And what would you say to that, Esther?
About the store?
Yes, because
Well,
it's not in Mona's house, but sometimes she said it's hard to pass up at the store.
it is. And
She
I
shouldn't.
stand. I don't go down the bakery aisle. I don't go down the meat department. I just, like, when I do go to a store, like, I just go to the produce department. I don't look at anything on any other aisle because there's nothing else I need. Just anything in the produce department is free game. And it's unpackaged, it's unprocessed, and anything there goes. But I will say this: that Payday used to be my favorite candy bar. And when I'm standing in the checkout line, even at a store like Walmart, where I'm not going for groceries,
Oh yeah.
the candy is always there. And lately, I've been just kind of looking and checking it out to see, well, do they even carry Payday? You
Yeah.
know, and because I used to love to take the peanuts off one at a time, and eat the peanuts off and then eat the rest of the candy bar. And now I look at the price, and what used to be a quarter is like $1.25. I think, no way, no way. And then when you think of the money, you say, people complain about the prices that are going up. All you have to do is eliminate some of the processed food, and that gives you a lot of extra cash to pay for the difference of price for what you want. And it just takes a conviction. It takes, you have to love yourself enough that you want to be well. And like I say, I didn't start till I was 72, so I was already half dead,
Mm.
and I didn't have much time to play the game. Well, okay, this week I won't. But it's just like if you want to quit smoking or quit caffeine, or you want to quit alcohol or anything like that, I can't play both sides of the game. I
Right.
can't, it's kind of like if you're dating somebody. Maybe you play the field until you decide who you want to marry. But once you make a decision, you don't keep going back trying to reevaluate, oh, did I make the right decision or whatever. I mean, that's kind of an extreme correlation. But the point is, know yourself and be honest with yourself. And because like I had this really nice guy, he wrote to me this week and said, I'm whole food plant based, and he's been doing it for a while. And he said, but he said, then I fell off the wagon, having trouble getting back on. And he said, I wanted to make an appointment to see a cardiologist and an endocrinologist, but he says, I can't even get in for 2 months. What would you suggest? And I just was so happy with the answer that came. I said to him, what are you willing to do? And he said, I will do anything. He said, I'm in misery. I thought, okay, you said anything. I'm going to take you at your word. And then I said, what do you like to eat? And you know what he said? Fruits, vegetables, grains, and beans. I said, perfect. Okay, now step number 3. I said, for 9 days, I want you to have vegetables and water only. You said you'd do anything. You were desperate. He wrote back in 6 days and said, all symptoms gone. I don't know what his symptoms were, but it was wonderful that by putting our words are so important. And if we say something, we better live up to it. Because it's easy. Talk can be really cheap. But he said he would do anything. He said what the food he liked. So then he wrote, well, before he felt better, he said, what about sugar, salt, and oil? I said, they're not vegetables.
You signed that contract, sir.
But you see, he created it himself by
Yes.
being desperate, by declaring with his own mouth that he's willing to do anything. And he declared what he liked to eat. And I wasn't asking him to eat something he didn't already like.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. Well, Mona is being very helpful here because she's saying things that I think other people are experiencing and maybe they're not saying it. And she said, I at times I get the single serve bag and eat on the way home. Those dang chips are at the checkout as well. And that's that impulse aisle, they call it, right? So it is there. And it's a big deal, especially I think, you're going shopping, and sometimes we go shopping when we're hungry, and maybe the only time that we have the opportunity to go shopping is right before dinner time or something. And then we have to make so many decisions. What do I get here? Oh, I can't have that. I need to get this. Oh, don't forget that. Where's my list? I forgot it. And by the time you get to that checkout, you are spent. As far as your decision, all the decisions you have to make, and now you're still hungry, you're more hungry, and you've been looking at all this food, and now there it is. It's like a casino,
Yes.
just brightly colored. They know exactly how to get you, and meanwhile, your brain has been telling you all along, you working so hard, you deserve something or whatever. And then you get there and there it is. And that's habit of doing it.
Yes. And I think the word addiction is worth talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we, like you say, you're sitting there and you can get a single serving and you can eat that on the way home and maybe nobody will know you cheated, and you can get away with it. But then all that remorse comes and you feel so bad, like you failed. But another technique I think that really helps is make a list. Ben always asks me, what do you want at the store? And he does not buy anything that's not on that list. So whether you call that willpower or being a skinflint or whatever, if you make yourself a list, mm-hmm. and if that's really what you want to do, more than you want to succumb to the advertisement that's in the store, make a list and make a promise to yourself. This time, maybe it won't have anything to do with the future, but this time I will not buy anything that's not on my list.
Yeah. And maybe you need to start a new habit, right? Because I think about the old Oregon Trail. My kids used to play this game on the computer, and the wagon would get stuck in the ruts sometimes, because so many wagons just keep going over the same trail, and it's muddy, and after a while it gets ruts and they get stuck in it. And we do get stuck in the habit and in the ruts. And we've been training, like Mona, training yourself, you go through all these steps and then you get to the checkout and there are the chips and you take them. And that's what you do. And you're just so trained to do that it's hard to get out of that. So maybe you need to change it up. I like to tell my clients to take a baked sweet potato, because you can eat them cold, right? They
Yeah.
don't even have
Yeah.
to warm up, and put it in a Ziploc bag and make that your reward for making it through the gamut of the whole grocery store, and say, now after I'm done and I check out, I get to eat my sweet potato. And you
Yes.
can hold it in the plastic bag so it doesn't get messy on your hands. And you can just eat it as it's in the bag, and like pull the bag back and eat that. And to me, I never leave the house without food, because you
Yeah.
never know, right? You could
Right.
get a flat tire, or something could happen. So I think we all should bring these wonderful things. The sweet potato is a wonderful gift.
Yes.
And why not bring that with you and see how that works? And then let us know, Mona, if you tried that. I would like to know if you tried that, and see. And oh, okay, she's making a commitment, everybody. I
Oh,
haven't tried that, so I sure will. Okay, next
oh,
time you
that's
come
good.
back, I want a report
Yeah.
on, on how that worked, right?
And Mona, please know that you're normal. I
Mhm.
mean, you're more normal than I am. And by that, what I mean is I've had 8 years of experience now, but it's normal. If you listen to anything that Doug Lyle says, that we're naturally, as a human, whether you call us an animal or a human, I don't care. We are naturally driven to survive. And the way to survive is to eat the most calorie dense food in our environment.
Yes.
And what's the most calorie dense food? It's all the stuff with fat and butter and sugar and fat and all that added to it. So that is a normal response. It takes an abnormal thinking pattern to change that, to realize that you're not going to die tomorrow, and you can choose something today. But know that you're fighting evolution, you might say. You're fighting what has allowed people to survive, is to eat whenever they could, whatever they could. And now we have so much in our environment that it's not a normal environment anymore. There's just so much abundant.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge, and take it step by step, and just love yourself. If you screw up and eat a bag of potato chips, you're not going to fall. You're just going to delay learning, or delay feeling happy and victorious over it. But it's nothing to condemn yourself for. I mean, good grief. It takes a long time to get heavy. We've invested a lot in it, and we've had just automatic responses to food. Instead of, like at the beginning, someone talked about, if you can change your mindset to instead of thinking of food as a reward or as excitement or like that, to being fuel, then it takes some of the pizzazz out of it. You
Yeah.
know, and simple is good. I know a lot of people don't agree with me about simple, but it's worked for me. Um, it's just it has. I mean, I hardly have to cook anymore.
Mm.
I'll do a batch of potatoes and something else, and then I'm just pulling the potato out and heating it if I want to, and then adding some fresh produce from the refrigerator, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Just just so easy. But it doesn't have to. I mean, if you like gourmet food, and you like to cook, for some people it's an art, it's a talent, it's a gift to be able to make really wonderful combinations of food. And if that works for you, enjoy your talent.
Mm. So, Starchy Shauna, hi, Starchy Shauna. I've seen you commenting around. It's nice that you're here. Wants to know, what are your thoughts on weighing yourself for weight management, and how often do you weigh?
Well, I weigh every day because I have fun with it. Like this morning, I got on the scale. I think I was 124.7. So I kind of divide that, and I look at it as being December 1947. I think, okay, what was I doing back in that month? So I'm not really looking at it in terms of good girl or bad girl, but just in terms of playing with the numbers, because it's just kind of fun. And
Mhm.
also because I went kind of low for a while, and I really didn't want to be down that low. So I kind of watch it that way. But normally, Dr. Lyle says, and I think it's really good advice, he says, weigh yourself for 3 days in a row and take an average. Then wait a whole month and weigh 3 days in a row and take an average, and then compare those two averages for a more accurate weight gain or loss.
Mm, mm,
But
yeah.
on the other hand, some of us are anal and some of us are compulsive, and we just can't hardly stand it, and we get on the scale. But the problem for me when I was wanting to lose weight is that I would use this, I didn't really intend to, but psychologically, I would use the scale as my teacher, or even saying good girl, bad girl type thing.
Yeah.
If I lost, say, 3 or 4 pounds in one day, I think, oh, wow, then I guess I can eat more. Well, so much of that's just water retention and salt. But, we can play games with it and say, oh, well, if the scale's still that, then I guess I can eat more. So I think it's better to get in touch with your body. And if you trust the program you're doing, we shouldn't have to weigh. We're going to notice the weight loss in our clothes, but if we get kind of anal about it, accept the fact that you're an anal person is probably what you're going to do. But there are reasons not to, and that's because if you do gain, then it's real easy to want to go into starvation mode to take off that weight you think you've gained, and that's not eating the program, or that's not eating healthy to punish yourself. Just don't eat bad stuff to begin with, then you don't need to punish yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. We're so used to using the scale to tell us what if we're being successful or not. And I think in my opinion, it depends on the person. For some people,
Yeah.
they just beat themselves up if every day, because you're going to go, as long as your trajectory is going down, you're going to go down a little and up a little, down a little and up a little. But as long as over that time you're still going down, then you're okay, right?
Well, that reminds me of a little game I used to play, and that's I had a chart on my computer, and what I did is I had the weights going one way and the dates going the other way, and so I was charting on the chart on a graph my weight loss, but I only put it down when the scale went down.
Uh-huh.
So when I looked at it, it was one continuous line going down.
Mm-hmm.
And when the scale fluctuated, I just didn't record those dates because I wanted positive reinforcement for what I was doing overall.
Yeah.
And that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's yeah. So I think you just have to, like you said, you're going to have these other things that are happening. People are going to say, "Oh, wow, you look like you lost a little weight," or you're going to go put on some article of clothing that maybe it was snug on you, and now you see that it's a little loose on you, or maybe you went for a walk and you weren't as breathless. There's other things that are happening. Pay
Yeah.
attention to those things
Yes.
more.
Yeah.
If you want to weigh yourself, that's up to you, but try to be more aware of those other things that are happening because you might
And,
miss them.
yeah, and the health you're building for yourself. That's what's important. Like when I first did this, I'll admit it was all about weight loss for me
Yeah.
because I wanted to travel and do all those things. But in retrospect, I realized I had no idea. Before on other diets, I never, improved my labs. I never improved, got rid of all those things that I had on my health thing. And so I used to say, oh, if I had it to do over again, I'd want to tell people, get healthy. The weight will take care of itself.
Yeah.
If you eat whole food, the weight will take care of itself. But but in the meantime, in fact, I have to tell you this. Like I said, I just had my birthday, and it was time to go back to DMV to take the driver's test again, renew my license after 5 years. Because 5 years ago, when my doctor said I didn't need to wear glasses anymore, I went to DMV and they took corrective lens off my driver's license. It had been on there for 30 years that I had to wear glasses to drive, and they took it off. And so now it came up for renewal again. And I will say I'm a little nervous because my vision isn't perfect, but it's really good. And so I had to go to DMV and go through and take the test over again and get my eyes tested, and I passed again. So I am really happy that at 81, I do not have to wear glasses to read. I do not have to wear glasses to drive a car. And all of those other diseases are gone. In fact, I got a birthday card from my doctor, and it said follow up. and the whole follow-up area, I'll have to post a picture of it. It was empty. There was no follow-up for anything. That's the best birthday card I could get.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And here's a before and after picture for those. I think that most of the people that are watching are fans of yours. But we always like to see a little before and after pictures sometimes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I also wanted to show the comments because people were giving you happy birthday greetings. So
Oh,
Lisa said
thank you.
happy birthday, and Colleen said happy birthday, and Roxy said happy birthday. So you just had, yeah, and we've got a lot of people in the comments saying so many nice things here, and that's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I'm so glad that oh, and Susan said happy birthday. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So,
every day's a birthday.
yes.
We're birthing new ideas all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you have to look like. You have to look at it like you're celebrating. You're celebrating every day, and when you're celebrating, you don't want to ruin the celebration by derailing yourself.
Oh no,
Right?
no.
Yeah. And people say, because I like to exercise. Well, actually, I don't love to exercise, but I like the results.
Mm.
Right? And we eat this way because we like the results.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So that's a big deal that you have to think about. And it's going to happen, but I often tell my clients it's kind of like you're walking up a down escalator. You
Yes.
really, if you stop, you're going to start sliding back down again. So as much as you can, be dedicated and just keep walking and keep going, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
It's like anything else, you have a quiz in school and you maybe don't get the best grade, but you just study hard and learn it and go on, and you just can't let any failure be a derailment, because it's not a failure, it's just another learning opportunity. There's no failure. If you made a choice one time and you don't like the results, then next time, just like coming December, going to that dessert concert, this time I will not get out of my chair. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Because last year I did, and I was not happy. I just went bananas. I just went bananas, and I don't want to do that again. My mental health is so important to me.
Yeah.
And I don't like doing things that cause me not to like myself.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you're getting a do-over in a way, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
I love
we
it.
got a few more happy birthdays from Kerry and Lani. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, and I want to thank Starchy Shauna. She gave me a super sticker that helps me so much because I am here to spread the word of this lifestyle and help others. And that really helps me a lot. And if you don't have to give me a super sticker. That's very generous. But you can you can share, you can subscribe. Those are the things that are going to help get this word out. And I appreciate all of you. It's so nice. And speaking of things that are nice, Esther told me that she's going to give away a copy of her book that she wrote, From Donuts to Potatoes. And you want to hold it up? Do you have it next to you?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on the full screen here. Hang on a second. So this is a book that you wrote, and I read. You want to tell us a little bit about it? And you're gonna get a link later on that you can click on to tell everybody how to do this book giveaway. But tell us about the book.
Oh, well, this is a book. It's a compilation of 366 days of the words that I put on Facebook every day. I do a little essay every day. And so when people thought they needed a book, I said, okay, I would go back and bring all those together. And also tells a love story about how Ben and I met in his donut shop. So not everything in the donut shop is bad. But I just happened to open it to July 13th. And do I have time to read a page?
Yes, because every time every time that you come on, I always ask you to read a page from your book, which I have. It's a wonderful book. So go ahead and read that. And
Okay.
Colleen said her book is fabulous. And
Oh,
I agree. So go ahead and read that to us.
okay. I just happened to open it. July 13th, the word was identify. Early on in my nutritional journey, I identified the goals I wanted to achieve within the first year. I still have the list on an electronic sticky note on my desktop. In July 13, 2016, I said, I want to 1, eat plant based foods. 2, I wanted to lose 70 pounds. I wanted to lower my cholesterol. I wanted to refrain from pain and sleeping pills. I wanted to increase my joint flexibility. I wanted to lower my blood pressure. And I wanted to improve my eyesight before July 13, 2017. 1 year later, July 9th, 2017, I got there. I was down 82 pounds from 257 to 175. If I had not identified what I wanted, I would not have had a measurement with which to chart my progress. How do we get anywhere without mapping out what we want in life? Name it and claim it. I also identified food that I could live without forever. For me, abstinence is my friend. I don't have to decide at every event, should I or should I not? Not is the answer, and the struggle is over. I realized no animal would have to die so I could live. It's a done deal. What is your done deal?
Oh, I love that. And that's what you get. You get 365 days worth of that, and you can read them in order on the calendar, or you can just open one up whenever you just need some encouragement, which is what I like to do. And if somehow the word that comes up, it's the right word for me
Right.
at that time. Oh, we have Georgia said, "Happy birthday, Esther! Thank you for your encouragement." So we're still getting more birthday wishes coming through. But yeah, that's just so beautiful. And that's what it's about, people. That is what about. And I'm going to give you a link, everybody, for the way that you can enter this book contest giveaway. And then at a future broadcast, I'll be spinning the wheel on during the broadcast, and we'll let the winning wheel decide who gets to have the book sent to them, and Esther will get notified and she'll send that to you. So, Green Warrior, please click like to show your appreciation for what Esther shared with us today, because that's how we applaud, right? She can't hear us do this, so click like, and then she knows that that you're clapping for her. And Esther, tell us about what you do and how we can find you.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Esther Loveridge, and on Facebook, I have a group called Esther's Nutritional Journey. And every day for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been doing a little video where I actually read a page from my book. So if you don't want to buy the book, which, by the way, all of the proceeds go to Dr. McDougall's foundation, so it's helping him out too. But I do read from my book every day, and I have a little inspirational affirmation from Louise Hay that I read. And if I'm cooking something, I share that in the Instant Pot or talk about that in general. So, and in my group, I also post a photo of everything that I eat. Sometimes Ben will say, well, do you want to taste this? And I say, no, because then I have to take a picture of it and then I have to explain what it was. So it has been a very good accountability tool for me. So that's basically what I do is I write a new post every day on Facebook. I read from my book and I do a video where I do that. And I also post pictures of all my food. So you can see exactly what I'm eating. And it may or may not be what you want to eat, but it does show everything that I put in my mouth except for my feet once in a while.
Yeah, I guess we all do that once in a while, but that's okay. Well, thank you so much, Esther, for sharing your valuable insights today and helping my Green Warriors better understand how to listen to our true hunger signals and what to do. And Esther, what's your final take home message for our Green Warriors?
Mm. You're all very, very special people. And I just want you to know how loved you are right where you are. There's nothing you have to do to achieve or get recognition or get appreciation for who you are. Be all of who you are, because there's only one of you and we need you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, Green Warrior, can you please type in the comments what your takeaway was? Some of you have already done that, but type in something that you found that would be helpful or a takeaway for you. And that will help other people who are tuning in at a later time to see what we were talking about and what they can benefit from. And I also wanted to thank Jess Task Voice for our countdown. And she's also did the promos and she did the voiceover and she's done the thumbnails. She's done so many things to help us out. And we do have a guest that's coming up next, and he has not yet told us what his topic's going to be, so we couldn't do the promo for him. But after that, I have somebody special that's coming up. So I figured since I don't have the promo for our guest next time, and you'll have to subscribe and follow me to find out who that is, I'm going to tell you who's coming up after that guest.
Looking to make your Halloween celebration healthier without sacrificing fun? Rick's whole food plant-based SOS-free recipes are the perfect way to serve up nutritious, crowd-pleasing treats. Join us on Wednesday, October 30th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on Be Green with Amy Live.
I want to thank you, Green Warrior, for joining us today. Your engagement and support make these discussions meaningful and impactful. And I really hope you're feeling inspired to take a closer look at your food and choices and make some positive changes for your health and well-being. Because remember, every bite we take and every bite that we don't take is an opportunity to nourish our bodies and, like Esther, become the healthiest versions of ourselves. And please stay tuned for more empowering content. Please subscribe to my channel. Check out Esther's Facebook. Make sure you answer all the questions. And please share our message with others who you think would benefit, because together as Green Warriors, we can make a meaningful difference in the world. And as a special thank you to all of you, I am offering you 5 free recipes. So go to begreenwithamy.com/join, and I will send you 5 free recipes one at a time to your inbox every couple of days. And you'll also get to have some motivational quotes and see some pictures of me doing some fun things as I get older and feel better. So that should be a lot of fun. And I also want to take this time to ask all of you to go ahead and take your right hand and grab your left shoulder, and take your left hand and grab your right shoulder. Now squeeze, because that's a hug from me to you, and from me to you, Esther, a special hug for your birthday, because we love celebrations, and that's a wonderful thing to celebrate. And I want to invite you, Green Warrior, to type in the comments my tagline, and you can join me and Esther as we say my tagline together. Are you ready, Esther?
I am.
Okay. Until I see all of you again, remember, be strong, be well, and be green. Thank you so much, Esther.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Green Warriors. It's always nice to have all of you here. It's just been so wonderful. And please come back and join us soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Now you can get 5 free whole food plant-based SOS-free recipes from Be Green with Amy. Just click on the link in the show notes, and Amy will send you 5 free recipes, motivational quotes, and more, so you can be strong, be well, and be green.